so they know how paper maker thinks.
Students tend to ignore that, although it is one of the most difficult parts.
Assalamualaikum. I am Mahnur, an intern at Millennial Premed and your host for today. I am excited to welcome you to the next episode of our series, Decoding the UHS MDCAT, where we'll discuss the MDCAT in Punjab. For that, I have my co-host with me, Fatma Sohail. Over to you, Fatma.
Sound everyone. My name is Fatma Sohail, your co-host today. I'm a first year MBBS student at King Edward Medical University and also a medical president at MedAngle. Today is a very, very special episode that we have, as we have very talented guests who are not in one of the most reputable universities in Pakistan, but also one of the top scholars of here, this MDCAT. That is Furqan Sikandar and Aamina Furqan. Hello, Furqan and Aamina. I would like both of you to please introduce yourself and also give a bit of something of your MDCAT journey. Over to you.
Okay, my name is M.Furqan Sikandar, and I have done my UHS MDCAT in 2023 year, and I'm currently studying first year in King Edward Medical University. And my MBBS journey was like I was a fresher, and I did my FSc from Government College, University Lahore. After that, I just gave my 2 months to the MDCAT preparation, and I got admission in King Edward Medical University. So that's it.
I would like to use yourself, please.
My name is Aamina Afar, and currently I am a first year medical student at Khan University, Karachi. I did my FSc from Punjab College, Islamabad in 2023, and same year I gave my UHS MDCAT and scored 182. MDCAT journey was unforgettable. It was like a roller coaster ride for me.
So what was your MBBS journey like? How has these 6 months you think you have shaped you? Tell me a bit about that. What is your MBBS journey up to?
Should I start? Or
Yeah, sure.
is it? So my MBBS journey is quite a bit, hectic as well as exciting. I've enjoyed these 6 months, frankly speaking, but it's really tough. Yes, it's really tough to manage the medical education. There are a lot of books you don't even know their names, and
I know.
and the number so huge. So it's really difficult to cope up with that, and I have to do something else other than the studies. So like YouTube channels, that's a bit difficult to manage. But yes, I will say it's good. It's a new part of my life. It's a new challenge, and we would love to conquer this challenge as well as we did in our past.
Amna, do you want to add something here?
So my MBBS journey is going very nice. Actually, it started from a bit of a confusion. You can't say confusion, but it was more like of a decision because I got into King Edward Medical College Lahore and then I got into Aga Khan Medical College Karachi. So it was a tough decision for me to decide which way to go. But in the end, I decided to withdraw my admission from King Edward and I decided to come to Aga Khan. And of course, I'm a long way here from home and it was a tough decision, but I'm currently doing great and I'm enjoying my life here very much.
That was a wonderful decision and obviously a very wonderful introduction. Now I'll move to the very next segment, which is the most important part of this whole series, which is the UHS MDCAT. So I would like for Khan to give us a brief overview of UHS MDCAT, like the paper pattern, the syllabus, or anything you want to add from your side. Over to you, Furqan.
Okay, the UHS MDCAT is simply very concise and based towards the textbooks of all the provinces, largely Punjab textbook and other province textbooks as well. It is very much, likely that 90 to 95% of the paper is just from those books. And about the paper pattern syllabus is quite a bit different from FSC, but it's the easier one. I would like to add this, that the syllabus of UHS is the easiest part of FSC. There are many difficult things which are excluded from the syllabus that are like plant portion that is very difficult. Students find it difficult to remember, and it's not included in the MDCAT. In MDCAT, you see the topics which are easy to remember, easy to just cram, you can say. So
You consider any area easy?
yeah, it was easy for me when I prepared it. You can use some techniques. There are many mnemonics on YouTube. You can check that, and you will find it quite interesting. It at one time it was one of my favorite chapters during the preparation. Like it's so fun to remember that when students around you are just talking about it, that is too hard, and you know that it's not hard. You can do that. So the syllabus is quite a bit easy in UHS. Like they exclude the difficult part and paper pattern. In biology, I will talk according to the subjects. In biology, they mostly pick the lines of the book, like direct lines. They take lines from book and give it in the form of the MCQs. Okay, so it's very simple, and if you read the book very carefully, you can do that. Physics, we have like one step question formula, one step numericals in the paper, and other are definitions and book lines. And chemistries goes the same. Chemical reactions are from textbook. And English is vast. I can't say that it's easy. Other subjects are easy, but English is difficult. I know, because it's huge, it's vast, it's diverse, but you have to just do 8 or 10 MCQs in the paper. So that's difficult to pick out which part of English are they gonna put in the paper, and which to focus on that subject more. So English is difficult, and on my side, I always had problems with English. So this is the summary of UHS MDCAT.
Anything you want to add further?
Further, I would like to add that students should study other promise books. Like, it's very important. In UHS MDCAT, you get MCQs right from the book, but it's not your book. It might be Balochistan, it may be Federal. Federal is very important. That mainly, in my opinion, it's all about textbooks. How you read textbooks in UHS MDCAT. The better you read them, the better you cram them, or maybe concepts. The better you have clear concepts, you will ace it easily.
One thing I want to add here is that बहुत सारे लोगों को लगता है कि मुख्तलिफ बुक्स से पढ़ना is very important, but I think federal पढ़ना is very important, but not from different provinces. I am a repeater, and when I studied from different books, I remember studying from KPK, Balochistan, and all that. So that was the worst decision of my life. And क्योंकि I don't know हमारी किताबें किस जमाने की लिखी होती हैं, बट वही बात सेम आप देखेंगे फेडरल में और लिखी होती है, सिंध में और लिखी होती है, बलोचिस्तान में और लिखी होती है, पंजाब में और लिखी होती है. तो जब आप इतनी सारी बुक्स पढ़ते हैं, वो कहते हैं ना, 2 कश्तियों का सवार डूबता ही डूबता है, और मेरे जैसा बंदा तो डूब ही जाता है. सो इट्स बेटर टू स्टिक टू योर टेक्स्ट बुक. जब आपकी टेक्स्ट बुक बहुत अच्छे से हो जाए, आपको लगे कि बहुत अच्छा हो गया, देन ओपन फेडरल, देन ओपन एनी अदर book you want in your life, and please stay away from prep books. They are waste of time. I
Yes.
think I am repeating this for the 50th time in my life. They are waste of time. I don't know other
Yes.
people, but yeah, it is. I think it is.
You're 100% right. And I have said it on my channel many times, quite a few times. Okay. And you said that it was a waste of your time or something like that. But I'm a fresher. I studied KPK, I studied Balochistan, I studied Federal in just 2 months. And that's
You
quite
had
an
enough time, I think,
Okay.
for everything.
No,
And
no, I
that's
didn't
the
have
reason.
enough time. What it was, I used to study the concepts. I used to take concepts from KPK, from Federal. In Federal KPK, you'll see the physics book is of KPK is very good. I loved it. I love to read it. Whenever I started studying it, I just indulge into it completely. Like, you have very good explanations, diagrams, the formulas are too very clear and simply explained to you, how you derive them, how you use them, and you get numericals, and you get exercise. The exercise of KPK Federal book is actually the UHS MDCAT. In physics,
Yes.
the exercises of KPK book or the Federal book, you get direct MCQs from that part into your UHS MDCAT. So what else you need? I literally studied MCQs from that book, and I got them in UHS MDCAT. What else I can expect as a fresher, that I can just do the exercise of a book and I will just ace my exam? So that is quite a relief for you. There are many differences in different books. Like, if you study Punjab book, it's very old book. In Federal is 2020th edition. Like, it was written in 2020. So it's quite advanced. KPK is also very advanced, but Balochistan is the most advanced book in Pakistan right now. Maybe Sindh is, right. So Balochistan is the most advanced. So there will be differences in numerical values, but the concepts are best written in the best modern books. That is main, crux of this thing, that why should we study other promise book? It's just because to get the concept clearly. not to just keep cramming or reading the boring book, which does not give you visual help or anything else.
That
Thanks.
was wonderful. My next question is from Amna. What do you think are the changes in the paper pattern and the syllabus in 2024 MDCAT?
Although the syllabus of 2024 is not yet out, I checked it today, and but we can make a prediction about that. Usually, the syllabus remains the same, just adding or subtracting one or two topics, and maybe not that even. So, in my case, the syllabus was same as 2022. So, I'm expecting that it will not change in 2024. The students don't have to worry about the syllabus. And of course, the pre-medical students are currently preparing for their MDCAT right now. So they can easily use the last year's syllabus to prepare for that. And we are expecting that the syllabus will remain the same.
So moving towards the next question, which is I think the most important question in every student life कि पढ़ना कब शुरू करना है. मेरा आज सुबह भी अपने आप से यही सवाल था कि अब पढ़ लेना चाहिए, बहुत हो गया. But anyways, so I would like both of you to shed some light on when one should start preparing for MDCAT, when you guys started preparing for your MDCAT, and what should be the timeline and all that. Over to you, Furqan.
I would say what I did, it was like maybe students get it like it's an ideal life. I started studying for MDCAT when I got admission in Government College University. So my brother is from Government College University. He got into King Edward. So my father told me that he's your path. You have to follow his path. Okay, in simple words. So the day I stepped in GCU, I thought that if I can get into GCU, I can get into KEMU as well. So from that day, I started studying FSC in a way to prepare MDCAT, but I wasn't a good student in FS Part 1, but Part 2, I studied that. And from Part 2, I started studying, preparing for MDCAT because I had one thing in mind that I want to top MDCAT and I will top MDCAT. For that, whenever I used to sit and study, I always kept that in my mind that this is the syllabus of MDCAT, this is the syllabus of FSC. I have to focus on this one. I have to study from Federal, from KPK, from other books in the FSC. So I studied from Federal book, Federal biology in my second year, not in the MDCAT days. So that helped me a lot. So I would recommend you, it depends on your goal. If your goal is big, that you want to score 200 marks in MDCAT, like I had a goal, so you should start as soon as possible. It's not too late or too soon. It depends on you, it depends on your goal, what you want to achieve. If you study after the FSC board exam, it would be very difficult for you to cope up with that. Okay, I would recommend you should start studying in Part 2 in your FSC. That would be better because the syllabus is same. It's not changing. Okay, so for me, it's FSC.
I think it's the power of manifestation that you actually topped MDCAT. Also, I think कि ना बहुत सारे बच्चे हमारी क्लास में भी ऐसे थे जो फर्स्ट ईयर से ही MDCAT के लिए तैयारी कर रहे थे and they got into very well reputed college in their very first attempt. I think you are right. अगर आपके पास टाइम है, आप क्योंकि आपके भाई भी आपने बताया कि कीमो में ही है, so you get a lot of guidance. But all of them who are watching, if you are in first year, start studying. It's better. I would
No,
like.
you watch when your brother is in King Edward, so you see how much respect he gets and you see how he lives his life. So you want to live like that too. And that is a motivation for you as well. And secondly, I had a clear, target, a clear goal for me in front of me. So that helped me a lot. And motivation is a very big thing in your education. Like you get bored, you get tired, so you have to keep on moving, keep going. So that was a good motivation for me.
I want Amna to add something in here.
I agree with Furqan. In my opinion, too, during FSC, we should keep in mind the upcoming MDCAT and we should try to make our concepts during the FSC because after that, we only have 2 months, so we can only revise those concepts. We cannot build new concept in those 2 months. So try to practice. I think so. Students should try to practice as much MCQs as possible. I know it's difficult to manage with your FSC that you are trying to prepare for your MDCAT, but you need to know the MDCAT pattern and you need to get to used to it. So I think firstly you should do the concepts during your FSC, and after that you can revise them after giving your exams of second year.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect.
I remember when I did MDCAT this time, मुझे बहुत अरसे बाद जाके याद आया था कि चलो मेरी इस यूनिवर्सिटी में मेरा दिल नहीं लग रहा तो कहीं जाके MDCAT दे आते. So I was very short on time. I just had 2 months, I guess. So I divided my syllabus into 3 parts, into 3 revisions, and I did. I remember जब मैंने आखिरी दिन बुक बंद की और मेरी तीसरी रिवीजन खत्म हुई थी, अगले दिन MDCAT था. So it's not always कि अगर आपने मैंने वो किताबें बहुत पहले खोली थी कहीं आखिरी बार. So it's not always कि अगर आपने पहले से नहीं पढ़ा हो तो आप 2 माह में नहीं कर सकते या 3 माह में नहीं कर सकते. It depends on you that how much potential and obviously how much motivation you have. So we'll end the segment here. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Fatma. तो एक important question है जो I think हर एक स्टूडेंट के दिमाग में होता है कि पढ़ाई कैसे करें, because everyone's like ये book use करो, ये वाली book use करो. So Furqan, for biology, what resources and strategies would you recommend?
For biology
Yeah.
के लिए best resource है for UHS MDCAT, the best resources are PTB textbook and federal. And if you are clever enough or smart enough, or if you have enough time, like if you're a repeater, so you can study Balochistan. I wouldn't recommend that. I studied, but I would never recommend to anyone because it's a very vast book. You don't have enough time to do that. But the best book is PTB, and then you should clear your concepts from FTB as well, because many MCQs from in UHS they're from federal book. They are book lines like reproductive system topic is entirely from FTB. It is just very important to study from federal. If you don't study that, you won't score good in that section. And lastly, I would like to add कि हर साल पेपर में यूएचएस में हमें ग्लॉसरी से क्वेश्चंस मिलते हैं. लाइक आई चेक दैट 2022 पेपर, and what I saw in that, I saw one MCQs, and I tried to find that MCQs in my PTB book, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Like I was hungry for that. Where it is, man? Where is it? So I couldn't find it. So one day I just opened that glossary and I found out that it was written in glossary. It was maybe from a water topic, like water potential. It was something like that. So it was written in glossary. It was just the book line, but it was in glossary, not in the prior part of the book. So you must study the glossary. And in 2023, I got 2 marks from that section, and 2 of them were right. Many of my friends got it wrong just because they didn't study the glossary. So please study that. You will find out 2 or 3 MCQs from that part, and it will help you. Glossary of
So I think
PTB.
this is the first time I've heard कि glossary से कोई question आता है. But अपने time पे I think मैंने सिर्फ PTB देखी थी, and I used to read federal की bio की, because I heard इसमें काफी concepts थे जो like काफी use होते थे MCAT, especially अगर आप numbers वगैरह भी दे रहे हो उसके लिए.
Yes.
So moving on, Amna, I believe हर किसी को chemistry में issue होता है, because मुझे personally chemistry में I feel like वो मेरा सबसे worst part था portion सारे MDCAT के अंदर, because वो सारी इतनी reactions होती हैं. तो how did you manage that, and how were you able to do it? आपने क्या यूज किया था केमिस्ट्री के लिए?
For me, I think for chemical reactions and their mechanism, my strategy was to practice as many equations as possible and actually write them. When you repeat an equation with different compounds and write those reactions, you tend to remember most of them. And then there will come a time when you just do a reaction just by looking at it. You don't need to even write it on the paper. So try to do all the equations mentioned in PTB and the federal book. One more thing, keep in mind the whole time that the whole mechanism of reaction is quite important, but the most important thing is the overall reaction. Like there is a overall reaction, and then you describe those that reaction in many different equations, which is the whole mechanism of that reaction. So try to remember the overall reaction, because you need to know how to solve an overall reaction without writing the whole mechanism. You should know the whole mechanism, but the overall mechanism is the most important part. And I think revising them, doing the equations with different chemical compounds, and writing those equations will really help you.
Yeah, I think MDCAT में आपको बहुत ज्यादा practice करनी पड़ती है, especially for a subject like chemistry जिसमें रट्टा टाइप बहुत ज्यादा होता है इस लिहाज से. लेकिन obviously सिर्फ chemistry में reactions तो नहीं होती, तो और भी चीजें होती हैं. Like I remember periodic table में होता था कि इसका trend ये ऐसे जा रहा है और वो सारा. How did you cope with that?
Actually, जो inorganic chemistry का mostly portion है, उसमें we have to look for different different things. Like there is a quite a diversity in that portion. So for that, you can go with mnemonics if it is easier for you, but it was not easy to do that with mnemonics. So I just memorized all of that, and I tried to write things in chemistry. So that really helped me. And try to make your notes so that you can just go through them before MDCAT, just a week before them. And if you are really good at writing and practicing, then I think after a month or so, you're able to do those MCQs without any kind of hesitation. Because time is also an important part in chemistry. You don't want to waste 5 minutes or 10 minutes on a simple MCQ where you have to solve a simple equation, but you are unable to do that because you are going to write the whole mechanism and you are going to do everything with your hand. So, to reach that point that you can solve them verbally, you need to practice a lot.
Yeah, I agree because मुझे याद है अपने टाइम पे मैंने I used to have this like बड़ी सी पेपर की शीट और उसमें मैं सारे important concepts लिख देती थी केमिस्ट्री because I was like end पे मैं ये बस रिवाइज कर लूंगी. Also, I think हमारे पास learning lists और review guides भी हैं at Mirangal Premed, so if anyone wants to go through them, they're like the summarized concepts for everyone and they're free. तो moving on, physics में I think अक्सर काफी लोग कंफ्यूजन होती है कि लाइक एक फॉर्मूला कैसे याद करें, फॉर्मूला कहाँ से अप्लाई करें, क्योंकि एक फॉर्मूला के इतनी डिफरेंट तरीके से आप उसको लिख सकते हो. तो फुरकान, हाउ वुड यू रिकमेंड या व्हाट वुड यू सजेस्ट टू द प्रीमेड्स कि वो क्या करें इसका?
Physics के लिए the best thing is to listen to your teacher very carefully. Whatever is he teaching you in the class lecture, that's best. Like he knows how the examiner thinks. He knows he might maybe he's an examiner. वो हो सकता है कि वो पेपर बनाते हों, जहाँ से मैं पढ़ा था वहाँ वो पेपर बनाने वाले कुछ थे टीचर्स, so they know how paper maker thinks, उसकी क्या सोच है, तो they teach you the concepts the way they teach you. You should pay full attention to them. और मैं क्या करता था कि जो भी पढ़ाते थे सब लिखता था ठीक है क्लास में ही, और जो वो एग्जाम्पल देते थे, जो भी वो न्यूमेरिकल्स फॉर्मूलाज नई से नई चीजें बताते थे जो बुक में नहीं लिखी होती, बट दे हेल्प इन MDCAT. So I used to take it very serious and I used to pay my full attention to them, answer their questions, whatever they ask in the class, try to answer it as soon as possible and be the first one to do that and have that hunger in myself. तो ये काम आपको बहुत help करता है. And secondly, you make mistakes in physics. You make mistakes in the beginning, but you can learn from that. जैसे जैसे आप mistakes करते रहो, don't forget those mistakes. Please don't forget and they वो वाले जो MCQs हैं, they will come again. They will come again and again in FLPs, in half books, in quarters, and maybe in UHS. So please pay attention to them, and you have to ask questions as many as you can. कुछ भी समझ नहीं आ रहा, कुछ भी फॉर्मूला है, कोई क्वेश्चन है जो आपसे टेस्ट में सॉल्व नहीं हुआ, you have to ask as many questions as you can. I still remember मेरे बहुत सारे questions ऐसे हैं जो भी मेरे पास हैं, but they are unanswered. But still, I thought about that. I used to make some, examples by myself. कोई भी scenario create कर लेना उस formula के लिहाज से and try to apply that formula in that scenario and get the answer. This is how you can do that. It's like you can practice from other books like KPK, like Federal. उनकी exercise solve करो, उनके numerical solve करो, और जो tests हैं, जो practice books हैं, उनसे practice करो. Because without practice you can't master that. And study your textbooks very, very keenly, very strategically, not to cram all that. You can't do that, but you have to just go through all that, all those formulas, all those lines that are very crucial in that. But most importantly, question as much as you can. That would make you master.
Personally, मैंने कोई और टेक्स्ट बुक नहीं ली थी, मैंने सिर्फ पंजाब की पढ़ी थी. तो moving on, Amna, how did you strengthen your English skills for the MDCAT?
For English, it is a bit difficult because there is no book available that you can read like the science subjects, because actually the textbook the students are reading right now in first year and second year didn't help much in the MDCAT. So first of all, we need to understand the MDCAT format, the types of question they ask, the vocabulary, the grammar part that is involved in MDCAT. After that, the students can gather their study material wherever they want to study from, maybe an online resource, past papers, or they want to make notes or use a grammar book. So start practicing grammar rules like tenses, sentence structures, etc. and the students should work on their vocabulary and practice different types of passages with mistakes so that they can pick out the mistakes and increase their understanding. And please give time to English. I know sciences are very much important, but English is also a very important part of MDCAT. Students tend to ignore that, although it is one of the most difficult parts.
I agree with sis because मुझे याद है कि इंग्लिश में there was I feel like वैसे इंग्लिश में लेकिन टेंसेस काफी इंपॉर्टेंट इसलिए भी हैं क्योंकि उसमें से एग्जैक्ट एमसीक्यूज आते हैं कि ये वाला टेंस कौन सा यूज हो रहा है इस सेंटेंस में, जो मुझे पर्सनली बहुत मुश्किल लगा था सो बिकॉज मुझे नहीं समझ आती थी इतनी अच्छी। तो गोइंग अहेड, फरकान, व्हाट वुड यू रिकमेंड फॉर लॉजिकल रीजनिंग बिकॉज आज सच उसकी कोई बुक भी नहीं है, तो व्हाट वुड यू रिकमेंड?
लॉजिकल रीजनिंग में मैं यही कह सकता हूँ, लाइक अगर आपके टीचर आपको पढ़ाते हैं तो बेस्ट है, ठीक है, उनको गौर से सुने वो जो रूल्स बताते हैं, बिकॉज देयर इज नो यूनिवर्सल रूल फॉर दैट। एट सम पॉइंट यू हैव टू लाइक डिपेंड ऑन योर लक, बिकॉज उसमें बहुत ज्यादा डाइवर्सिटी होती है, किसी सिचुएशन में क्या चीज अच्छी है, क्या चीज सही है, किसी में कुछ वही चीज गलत होती है। आई वुड से कि इतना ज्यादा टाइम ना दो इसको, ठीक है, इट्स नॉट दैट इम्पोर्टेंट। फोर एमसीक्यूज होते हैं मे बी, सो जैसे जैसे टॉपिक आता है उसको साथ साथ करो।
आई थिंक लॉजिकल रीजनिंग के लिए आपको प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ती है ज्यादा because क्वेश्चंस उस टाइप के आते हैं, और आई थिंक मेरे एट के काफी स्टूडेंट्स लाइक आईक्यू टेस्ट टाइप को सॉल्व करते थे और समथिंग लाइक दैट बिकॉज क्वेश्चंस काफी सिमिलर होते थे। सो थैंक यू, हैंडिंग इट ओवर टू यू फातिमा।
तो आई थिंक बहुत सारे ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं जो रिवीजन के बगैर पेपर में बिल्कुल भी परफॉर्म नहीं कर सकते। I am that. So this takes us to the very next question. कि फरकान, आपने कैसे अपनी रिवीजन को स्केड्यूल किया था? आपने जैसे जैसे एमडीकैट करीब आ रहा होता है वैसे वैसे इंसान का हर रोज ब्लड प्रेशर, हार्ट रेट सब बढ़ता है, तो उस टाइम में आपने अपना स्केड्यूल कैसे मैनेज किया? आपने कैसे अपना सारा सिलेबस रिवाइज किया? तो बहुत सारे लोग जो हैं वो 7 days रूल यूज करते हैं, डिफरेंट रूल यूज करते हैं, तो व्हाट डिड यू डू इन योर रिवीजन स्केड्यूल? प्लीज शेड सम लाइट।
मैं फ्रेशर था चूंकि, तो मेरे पास इतना ज्यादा टाइम नहीं था अपने लिए ये करने का कि मैं ये 7 days उसको दे दूं, या मैं तो सिर्फ फ्लो के साथ चल रहा था, जो हमारी अकेडमी का फ्लो था। लाइक वी हैड रेगुलर टेस्ट प्रिपेयर करना होता था, जो रोज के लेक्चर थे, डेली का काम डेली था, वो भी करना होता था। तो आई वाज अ पर्सन जो कि रोज का काम रोज करता था, टेस्ट उनको प्रिपेयर करता था, दैट्स इट। आई डिडंट लाइक हैड सेपरेट डेज और सेपरेट टाइम फॉर द रिवीजन। जब क्वार्टर्स हैं या हाफ बुक्स हैं तो वो हाफ बुक हाफ हाफ रिवाइज करनी है जितना उसका टाइम है। बट वन थिंग आई यूज्ड टू डू, लाइक अगर टेस्ट है 3 दिन बाद तो मैं दिन पहले उस बुक को पढ़ना शुरू कर दूं ताकि 3 दिन में वो हो जाए। और अगर वो फुल बुक है जिसके लिए एक एक दिन का टाइम मिलता है, तो आई यूज टू स्टडी दैट वीक बिफोर दैट, दैट एफएलपी जो पूरा फुल लेंथ बुक का टेस्ट होता है। सो आई जस्ट वेंट विद द फ्लो, जो एकेडमी के टेस्ट थे वो जैसे जैसे होते गए, आई जस्ट डिड देम इन दैट पैटर्न, नो स्पेसिफिक रिवीजन। द थिंग इज, मेन थिंग इज रोज का काम रोज, आई जस्ट डिड दैट, रोज का काम रोज करता था और टेस्ट प्रिपेयर करता था, दैट्स इट।
What I did during my revision time is that I divided all the syllabus, like 7 days का tenure था, and I remember कि for example आप मंडे से स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं तो मंडे विल बी फॉर बायोलॉजी, उसके बाद फिर केमिस्ट्री, फिर फिजिक्स, तो आपके 3 दिन यहाँ पूरे हो गए। और उसके बाद दोबारा सेम वही प्रोसेस जो है वो मैंने हाफ ऑफ डेज में रिपीट किया, लाइक एक दिन में फिजिक्स और बायोलॉजी होगी, एक दिन में केमिस्ट्री हो गई, और एक दिन इस तरह डिवाइड किया था। एंड द लास्ट डे मुझे किसी ने बताया था कि लास्ट डे आपको चिल करना चाहिए, तो मैंने भी लास्ट डे चिल किया था। और उससे पहले आप जितनी अच्छी रिवीजन कर सकते हैं, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन, जरूरी नहीं है कि अगर जो है एक बंदा उसने 7 दिनों में रिवीजन की है तो आपको भी वो 7 दिनों का ही टेन्योर पूरा करना है, आप उसको 14 days पे ले जाए। जैसे आई थिंक एमडीकैट इज ऑल अबाउट कि जैसे आपको सूटेबल लगता है। एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यहाँ पे जितने लोग बैठे हैं उनकी डिफरेंट स्ट्रेटेजीज हैं, डिफरेंट टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स हैं, हर बंदे की अपनी डायरेक्शन होती है। दिस इज जस्ट टू गिव यू एन आइडिया कि आपको क्या चीज कैसे करनी चाहिए, या एक एग्जाम्पल से मिल जानी चाहिए। एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू नो योर सेल्फ, तो उसी तरह उसी बेस पे जो है वो आपको अपना शेड्यूल रहना चाहिए। मूविंग टुवर्ड्स द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, आमना, व्हाट डू यू थिंक आर द मोस्ट कॉमन मिस्टेक्स दैट MDCAT aspirants usually make during their preparation?
I think the students try to read books all of the time, so they ignore the importance of practice. For me, I think they should practice more questions and take mock exams so that their mind can get used to the pressure that we face during the MDCAT exam. Because you know the stuff, you know how to solve that question, but at the exact time, the time to perform, you just flunk because it was you are not used to that pressure. So I think they should solve their issue first, and they should try to set a timer and then solve questions because time plays an important role in MDCAT. Another common mistake I noticed was not focusing on the weak points. Students generally ignore their strengths and weaknesses and try to cover the whole syllabus in the same manner. So I think they should know their strengths and weakness and try to work on their weaknesses more so that they can actually tackle with them when those problems arise in the MDCAT.
Totally agree with you that time past papers are very important because अगर आप वो कर लेते हैं तो आपको एमटी कैट में थोड़ी थोड़ी वैसी फीलिंग आती है जैसे आप अपने घर में बैठ के एमटी कैट कर रहे हैं बट एनीवेज ऑब्वियसली वन मिस्टेक आई वांट टू ऐड
Also, wait, I like to add something either too. अच्छा, एक चीज और मुझे ऐड करनी थी कि अक्सर ये भी होता है कि जो क्वेश्चंस जब आप प्रैक्टिस करते हैं ना बहुत सारे तो कुछ क्वेश्चंस होते हैं जो आपके गलत होते हैं और एंड में आपको सिर्फ वही याद रहते हैं, तो एक बजाय से कि मैं बार बार सिलेबस देखूं मुझे वो क्वेश्चंस एग्जाम डे पे याद रहते हैं कि वो अच्छा मैंने गलत किया था तो इसका आंसर एक्चुअली ये था. आई थिंक दैट हेल्प्स अ लॉट.
And the best thing I think is to write that question on your on a sticky note and paste it on your notes ताकि आप उसको बार
Yeah.
बार रिवाइज करते रहें. And secondly, I
Exactly
think
what I
that
used to do was कि अच्छा go on.
ज्यादातर बच्चे जो है वो इस तरह करते हैं कि वो लाइक डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स ज्वाइन कर लेते हैं. आई थिंक द बिगेस्ट मिस्टेक इज दैट वो कोई ग्रुप ज्वाइन कर लेते हैं और वहां पे ना मार्क्स से क्वेश्चन आता है और उसके बाद मार्क्स वाले बच्चे उसको सॉल्व करना शुरू कर देते हैं. पता नहीं वो कौन से डीप क्वेश्चन होते हैं, कभी मेरे से सॉल्व नहीं हुए. और वो जो एक्चुअल क्वेश्चंस होते हैं जो पेपर में आते हैं यानी जो पास्ट पेपर के क्वेश्चंस होते हैं या जो एक्चुअली इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस होते हैं उनको छोड़ देते हैं और उस ग्रुप वाले क्वेश्चंस के पीछे पड़ जाते हैं. तो आई थिंक दिस इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट मिस्टेक जो कि प्रेपरेशन के दौरान.
तो एक और चीज जो मैंने की थी पर्सनली, मैंने ये किया था कि मेरी जो टेबल थी उसके साथ जो दीवार थी आई पुट स्टिकी नोट्स विद द इम्पोर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स मुझे साथ याद नहीं रहते थे. तो फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई हैड एनी मील और उसमें से मुझे कोई वर्ड नहीं याद रह रहा तो जब मैं बैठी हुई थी मीना से पढ़ती थी और इसकी वजह से मुझे काफी उसके लाइक आपको एक रिटेरेशन बार बार मिल रही होती है देन यू रिमेम्बर ज्यादा बेहतर. तो मेरी पूरी दीवार भरी होती थी इससे.
Furqan, what were you saying?
saying कि मेरे भी एक दोस्त मतलब मेरा एक दोस्त था वो लेके आया था इसी ग्रुप का ही क्वेश्चन मेरे पास, तो कहता था यार ये हल नहीं हो रहा, ये बड़ा परेशान हूँ, सारा ग्रुप लगा हुआ है किसी से भी हल नहीं हो रहा. सो दैट्स वेरी ट्रू एंड वाज वेरी लाइक इलॉजिकल क्वेश्चन आई वुड से. लाइक वो फिजिकल लेवल का था ही नहीं एंड वो हमें दिया गया था. वो इंजीनियरिंग का सवाल था, लाइक ई कैट में आना चाहिए था वो, तो वो सॉल्व कर रहा था तो वो परेशान हो रहे थे उससे. लाइक ई कैट के ही सवाल होते हैं मोस्टली जिन पे बच्चे परेशान होते हैं, जिनमें फार्मूला लगने होते हैं जो मैथ वालों ने पढ़े होते हैं. तो ये बिल्कुल सही कहा फातिमा ने, डोंट गेट इन्वॉल्वड इन सच ग्रुप्स एंड स्टे फोकस्ड एंड स्टे ट्यून टू योर टेक्स्ट बुक्स, टू योर पेपर्स जो आपको दिए जाते हैं, ठीक है, और ऐसे ही सवालों पे बिल्कुल टाइम जाया ना करें.
As obviously just see your finish line, your goal is good. ना देखे लोग क्या करें, हमें करना है तो करते हैं. So my next question is
Yeah.
that कि हमारी मतलब कहा जाता है commonly कि a piece of paper can't decide your future, but MDCAT के 3 घंटे बाकी डिसाइड करते हैं कि आपका फ्यूचर क्या है. आपने नाम से जाना है कि आपने क्या जाना है based on 2 experiences. Anyways, so मेरा क्वेश्चन आपसे आमना ये है कि what do you think, what is the best way of attempting an MDCAT exam? क्या उन 3 घंटों में आपको अपना माइंड कैसे स्टेबल करना चाहिए या किस तरीके से आपको अटेम्प्ट करना चाहिए? ओवर टू यू. आपने कैसे अटेम्प्ट किया?
Actually, for me, I think कि मैंने mock exams काफी ज्यादा दिए थे. Like I used to solve a lot of them. और मैंने एक academy भी join की थी तो उसमें भी बार बार exams हो रहे थे. So I get used to that. Like exam was not a new thing for me. So जब मैं MDCAT देने गई and I was like I'm where I am, like really I'm here for MDCAT, or like it felt like the other exams I gave just before that, or it was very normal. Yeah, I was a bit hesitant, I was a bit nervous. That's true for all the students because those 3 hours will decide your destiny, so you have to be focused. Lekin I think you should pray to God, you should focus on your MDCAT and try to try to remember your goal, what you want to be. Your goal is not to pass MDCAT, your goal is to be a doctor. So MDCAT is just a milestone in that journey and you have to go through that. And if you keep that in mind, I think it will be very easy for you to go through that. And MDCAT is not a big भूत जिसे हम कहते हैं कि जिससे डर कर भाग जाया जाए, because आपको जो करना है, if you are true to yourself, if your intentions are true, if you really want to be a doctor and you give your best, MDCAT is not that much big of a
one thing I want to emphasize here is that take care of your mental health during your preparation. Stay away from negative energy, negative people. ऐसी कोई भी चीज जो आपकी mental health जनरली खराब करती है उससे दूर ही रहना चाहिए. I remember मैंने एक डायरी ली MDCAT से 3 माह पहले और मैं रोज लिखती थी एक पेपर है, ये एक पेपर है, मेरा क्या ही उखाड़ लेगा. तो रोज मैं उस पे एक ही लाइन बार बार लिखती थी. एंड आई वाज स्टडिंग इन नम्स एट दैट टाइम. तो आई यूज्ड टू राइट नम्स मेरा अपना है, नम्स मेरा अपना है. एंड आई रिमेंबर व्हेन आई वेंट टू द नम्स सेंटर, आई एंटर्ड. एक बहुत घबराई हुई लड़की मेरे पास एंड शी सेड मैंने सुना इस बार पेपर बहुत मुश्किल है. एंड सेड नम्स तो मेरा अपना है. और उसके बाद मैं उसी कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ जाके क्लास में बैठ गई. एक मिनट नहीं गुजरा ऐसा उस पूरे टेस्ट में कि मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस एक बार भी जो है वो डगमगाया हो. और यूएचएस में भी क्योंकि नम्स के बाद आपका कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्ड हो जाता है, यूएचएस में भी आई वाज लाइक यूएचएस मेरा अपना ना सही तो स्कूल तो मेरा अपना है ना, क्योंकि मेरे स्कूल में मेरा एमडीकैट था. ये अच्छी बात भी है लेकिन बुरी बात भी है. बट या आई थिंक मेंटल हेल्थ एंड स्टेइंग इन द मोमेंट. आपसे आप कभी भी ना पेपर देखें ना, एक क्वेश्चन मुश्किल होता है और 5 आसान है, लेकिन आपका दिमाग ना पहले क्वेश्चन में इतना फंस गया होता है आप आगे सोचते ही नहीं है, देखते ही नहीं है. और बहुत सारे लोग इसी वजह से मैसेज करते हैं. दिस इज द सेकंड बिगेस्ट मिस्टेक आई थिंक कोई भी बंदा जो करता है. तो स्टे इन द मोमेंट. जो हो गया उसे भूल जाए, उस पर पानी डाल दें, आगे बढ़े. बहुत सारी क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने के लिए और एक पूरा पेपर पड़ा है, एक क्वेश्चन के पीछे अपने 199 मार्क्स मत गवाएं. तो आई थिंक दिस sums up this segment. Over to you, Manu.
Okay, so thank you so much, Amna and Furqan, for joining us today. We are so glad कि आपने अपना time निकाला हमारे लिए. और for the viewers, I would suggest what Fatma said कि like focus on your mental health. इस time पे आपको बहुत चीजों का stress होता है कि पता नहीं मेरा होगा या नहीं होगा. अगर हो गया तो that's really good, but अगर ना भी हो तो there's always another chance and it's not the end of the world. It really is not the end of the world. उसके
और जब
अलावा
ज्यादा
I
खुश ही
wish
रहते हैं
you
उसके बगैर.
yeah, I mean, but good luck to every MDCAT aspirant out there, and over to Fatma again.
So I would like Furqan and Amna to, if अगर आप back in time जाए तो अपने आप को आप ऐसी कौन सी एडवाइस देंगे कि अगर आप उस टाइम पे दोबारा होते हैं तो कोई ऐसी एडवाइस, कुछ भी ऐसा जो आप अपनी पास्ट सेल्फ को देना चाहिए ड्यूरिंग द MDCAT प्रिपरेशन.
Okay, I would like to tell myself कि ज्यादा परेशान होने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. ठीक है, हो जाता है. Like I used to get worried कि मेरे डेली गोल्स पूरे नहीं हो रहे, जितना मैंने रोज पढ़ना है वो पूरा नहीं हो रहा, मेरे से सारा पढ़ा नहीं जा रहा. जो टेस्ट है कल वो भी है, डेली का भी है. Like I was a guy जो रोज का काम रोज करता था, रोज का जितना भी है, लेकिन रोज का बहुत ज्यादा होता है पढ़ने के लिए, तो वो नहीं पूरा होता था. तो I used to get worried and that very used to haunt me in the test as well. So I would say कि मुझे ज्यादा परेशान नहीं होना चाहिए था, जो कि मैं होता था. बट इन द एंड आई जस्ट सेड टू माई सेल्फ कि कोई बात नहीं भी होगा तो इट्स ओके. ठीक है, परेशान होने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. सो दैट्स वन थिंग आई वुड लाइक टू से टू माई सेल्फ. अदरवाइज आई वाज गुड. नाइस.
Amna, anything you want to add?
For me, I actually never want to imagine taking the MDCAT again, because it was not because of study or that the syllabus is difficult or the books are difficult or the exam is difficult. It was due to the pressure that the students faced during that time, and that pressure was something for me. And I just want to reassure myself that ho jayega, because you know that you are working hard, you know that everything is gonna be okay, but you are not just sure. There is that uncertainty in the air for those 2 months. And one thing more, I want to, like, the advice to my younger self was to read the PTB books, because I did my FSC from federal board and then I gave the exam of UHS. So I didn't get time to read PTB books in greater detail, and I just scanned through them and just did a quick overview, not in that much detail as the Punjab board students did. So I just want to go through them again. If yeah.
One thing I really believe is that what's meant for you will always find its way. So it's never like कि ये हो जाए या वो हो जाए. जो आपके नसीब में होगा आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा कैसे आ जाएगा यहाँ अब तक. तो there is nothing to worry about. It's not the end of life. जैसे कि महानूर ने कहा, जिंदगी तो आप शायद इसके बाद ही शुरू होती है और अच्छे पता लग के शुरू होती है. So over to you, Mahnoor.
Okay, so I believe we are at the end of our podcast. So thank you so much again. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.